Gives a Minute D-Live Stream. Well, g'day D-Live and welcome back to the Gives a Minute D-Live stream for a Tuesday afternoon affair. It has just gone 5 minutes past 3 in the PM for me. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening to you, wherever you're consuming this content, whatever the time it is. You're always welcome right here on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream chit chat. Looking into the chit chat, I see Crazy Sponger, I see Groove Hammer, I see Hundu, I see Hunda, I see Storm Clouds Gathering, I see Davo, I see Jason, I see 6 crew, and therefore 6 freaking cheerses, because everyone gets a cheers when they join the Gives a Minute D-Live stream chit chat. This glass, that microphone, when these two things touch each other, somehow, somewhere, in some intergalactic stratosphere, that represents the cheers. And I'm not too sure why that is either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 freaking cheerses. Let me have a swig here. Crazy Sponger with the follow. Hey, Crazy, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow. I also see a follow from Groove Hammer. Groove, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow, Groove Hammer. Hello from Germany, Berlin, Prost. Hello, Hunda. Hunda 123. Dog 123. Storm Clouds Gathering with the follow. Yo, Stormskis. Thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now why would this make you a giver? Allow me to explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Well, thanks for the follow. Davo, hey Gives. Hello, Davo. How are you doing today? I'm doing well, thank you. And hello, how are you as well, Davo? Right back at you. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Testing. I'm calm and relaxing and having a great day today. That's good to know, Davo. Good to relax, good to be calm. Jason, hey Venon and Givers, it's 9 PM. Hello, Jason, how are you doing? There has been a time zone change. We are now in daylight savings time in Australia. By the way, can I just, it's warm. It was cold, now it's warm. I've got to open my door. Oh, what? My monitor just went off. You see that? Did I see that? That's a rare chance when you actually see that happen. I tell you the truth. Okay, so I do have a little update on this monitor stopping situation. Mind you, what you just saw, I think that's an anomaly. I struggle with that word, anomaly. I think that's an unusual one. That one could be the desk pushing against it and the cable being loose. But this idea of the laptop disconnecting from a monitor at random, I'm thinking it's the DisplayPort. But I did a little bit of research, and it is a known issue. Well, when I say it's a known issue, there are reports of it online. People saying, how come my MacBook Pro 16-inch randomly drops the connection to the external monitor at no particular interval, just whenever it wants. So maybe that's what it is. It's a thing. Hey, Benon. Melbourne Doug. Hey, Gives and Givers. G'day, Melbourne Doug. How you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to have you. Nice to know you. Davo, thank you for the lemon. Rob Mack. Hey, BJ Walk and fellow Yahoos. G'day, Rob Mack. How you doing, man? And by the way, yeah, well, Facebook said ta-ta for a while today, didn't it? It was offline. Facebook down. And by the way, the API is not connecting again at the moment, so I'm not on Facebook right now, which doesn't really faze me. I'm not really bothered with Facebook, to be completely frank, but here's the thing. The amount of times I've had notices sent to my phone saying, your new Facebook passcode is, click here. And this goes back 4 or 5 years now. I've been getting these. I could show you a whole list of them, right? These Facebook messages saying your password reset is completed. Click here to confirm, and that kind of crap, right? So we know, everybody knows that's hackers, right? So if that's been going on for as long as it's been going on, it shouldn't be surprising that the whole thing went down. In fact, the surprising thing about that is that it's taken this long for someone to pull it down entirely. I don't even know what happened. I haven't done any research because I don't really care. Facebook, whatever. It's whatever, right? Facebook. But the fact that it's taken this long for someone to get it offline, I find that intriguing. But yeah, so just as a heads up, we're only on the Tubes of You, Trovo, Twitch, and DLive. All the Facebooks are down. The API is just not reconnecting. I'm eating cauliflower slaw with Italian salad dressing. That sounds lovely. And Rob Max got a new sticker, chillin'. Hey, Dugski. So, on this stream, I have a service that I use. It's called Speedify. Actually, here's the thing. I have a service that I've paid for, which I don't often use. I'm not actually using it right now. What it does is it takes 2 internet connections and theoretically it bonds the 2 connections for redundancy. So this sounds like the ideal solution for live streamers. For someone who's live streaming on a, let's just say, a 4G connection, right? That would be ideal. I've got 2 4G services, one from Telstra, one from Optus. What's better than having one of each, banging the 2 together, tying them together, and then having redundancy? Here's the thing. This concept obviously exists in other forms, hardware, such as the LiveView Solo. This device actually takes... So the reason Speedify, I feel like the reason Speedify is a scam, is because you need a service. You need a server, right? So let's just say, oh, I forgot to touch some of my green tea again. Let's just say this is one of your internets and this is one of your internets. And you're going to use both of them, somehow join them together to make the whole thing bigger and stronger and fatter and more reliable. Well then, where are these 2 things joining and then going from? That's the thing. Speedify doesn't do that. LiveView Solo does that because LiveView Solo is even better than that. The LiveView Solo accepts 1, 2, actually 4 in totes. You can take 4 signals. Now, it doesn't merge the 4. This is not how the LiveView Solo works. All it does is it sends all 4 of those signals into its cloud server, and then it chooses the one that's the most reliable and on-sends it. That's how the LiveView Solo works. This program, Speedify, proclaims to somehow magically make both of those one big fat pipe, and therefore you've got redundancy. we've had issue. I've been on and off with it, turning it on, turning it off sometimes. We used it for quite a while back, I guess about a year ago, and I was still getting streams dropping, right? Like if you're theoretically bonding two 4G signals into a big fat pipe, where would you ever lose any of the signal? And I've tweeted at them. I've said, man, you're and when it came time to renewal, I said, I'm not renewing this because it doesn't work. Like, it hasn't stopped me. It hasn't done what the product says. The product says fail-safe live streaming. There's 3 different modes. There's a mode in, I can't recall the names of them, but one of them basically gives you the fatter pipe. One of them gives you 2 pipes with redundancy, and the other one gives you packet priority. I think packet priority. I think that's what it was, which is essentially what the LiveView Solo does do. But how can Speedify do it for $5 a month without any hardware? So the reason I'm saying this is because they've got a YouTube channel, and I stumbled upon it. This is their YouTube channel here, Speedify, and I noted this live stream from a week ago. Speedify Live presents how to enhance your van life internet. So this is quite literally aimed exactly at what I do, right? And what a lot of other IRL well, I don't know many IRL streamers that live in vans that do what I do from Stevan, but this is obviously coming, right? People are going to be doing this. Like I said, as soon as Starlink is global and it's the ESIM version, the mobile internet. Funnily enough, are we live still? That's weird. Are we live? Dude, I make no apologies there. We just dropped internet. Shit you not. I shit you not. We just dropped internet. You see me? You see, if you see my, okay, so we're back. That's weird, right? That's weird. Maybe this is the time when I should have been using Speedify. I refuse to believe that that's a, okay, this is a great time to do this. On the screen, right there is a GoFundMe. So Speedify, get the hell out. You don't work. The only thing that would stop whatever happened just then, I'm gonna, my CPU's at 7%, so it's not the CPU. I got an update on that too. Right there, right? That's internet. That's 4G internet going. Nah, not now. 4G, nah. The only way to have solid internet, as we all know, fiber optic cable. You look through it, you see the lights. The light is on or the light is off, and then it's connected. So, that GoFundMe, which is right on the screen right there, if we can raise the $6,000 that it will cost to run fiber from the point where our lovely government, God bless Australian government, God bless the Australian NBN, God bless those who voted for those governments, they stopped the fiber at a particular point in town, about 400 meters away, three streets away. As the crow flies, 410 meters, 3 blocks away. To run that fiber from there to here, it's going to cost about $6,000. Now that is not the service, that's just the pipe. So if we can get that together, you will never have what happened just then happen again, right? We won't. What happened? I see you. It went off and I see you now. See, all this crap, the only way around that, as a live streamer, as someone who's done this now long enough to know, the only way around that is fiber optic internet. I'm not suggesting fiber optic internet for the vast speeds, the gigabit speeds it provides. That'll be great, no doubt about that. But the sheer simplicity of it being turned on, and it's always on. You can stream 720, 24 frames, as long as it's always on. No one will ever get a disruption. You can stream 4K 120. You could probably stream 8K 120 with gigabit internet. You definitely could. As long as it's always on, right? And that's what fiber optic does. So that's why I've got that donation goal there. I will say this, we've had this running now for quite a while. I mean, I feel like it's been a month now, and we've sort of stagnated at $265 raised of 6,000. I'm going to put it to you yahoos and say, how long do I keep going with this? If no one gives a shit about it, if nobody cares about this, they're like, I don't give a flying duck about your internet gives. If you don't stream, I'll go and watch someone else. I don't care. Then fine. How long do I keep reminding everybody about this to have no response? Is it silly to ask for $6,000 to continue these streams? Or is it silly, or is it not? Yeah. Because I don't want to keep doing this and then everybody's sitting back going, well, we don't care. Why does he keep reminding us about his internet? We don't care. If he doesn't stream, then I'll just watch the next person. I might have got it all wrong. We've hit on $265 for quite some time, which is great. There's a long way to go. If this is something that is worth continuing, I will continue with it. I will keep reminding everybody. But if it's not worth doing, don't ever be afraid to say, dude, that internet goal of yours, the fiber up, dude, it is so windy here. That's probably what went on. It's offshore, blowing from the west. It's gotten really warm though. It'll probably drop again, to be honest. Just be upfront with me. Like, next time I start this spiel and you've heard it enough and you're like, dude, calm down with that crap. We don't care. You should be able to tell because no one's care. 265, and we've been talking about this ad nauseum. Anyway. All right, that aside, I'm intrigued by what Speedify have suggested, or these tips that they've got. The live stream, ironically a live stream, this better be 1080. If they're doing this at 720, I'll be giggling. Speedify Live presents How to Enhance Your Van Life Internet. Join us for a live discussion on mobile internet, remote work, and van life with Geoffrey Huntley, a developer, advocate, and software engineer who's working remotely in a van that is slowly working its way around Australia. No shit, I did not see that before. These guys, what? Is Speedify an Australian company? I mean, that's news to me, folks. That's intriguing. That's intriguing. He's in Australia, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing that now because he's going to hit the same issues I hit. The 4G, man. The 4G issues. That's crazy. So, I've also got a surfing clip for you today. It was cold out there. What was with the temperature? It's like it's dropped right back off to winter almost, and the water is still cold, and the offshore wind, and I just spat all over that. Yep, nice one. Yeah, the offshore wind made it even colder. I did surf with a guy. I didn't get your name, but hello if you're watching. Although you didn't mention, forget that. Forget that. That's what I was going to hit. So, do I want to do this now? No, I won't do this. I'll hold off on that. It was going to be a little D-Live sort of spiel, but it kind of ties into the internet thing, but I just I'll tap off. Downtown with Brown with a follow. Yo, Downtown, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content. You see, now me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow. Downtown with Brown. That's a cool handle. Where'd that come from? Downtown? What's the significance with Downtown with Brown? We got issues. Tidy Labs definitely has issues at the moment. My alerts just are not refreshing. Oh wow, you can hit it that way. There you go, 10. There has been an update to OBS. Now I was experiencing, that's the word I'm looking for. I was experiencing strange high CPU usage on my stream yesterday. Right now it's at 7%, which is pretty much ideal. But I have seen it yesterday go up to like 17, 19, and when it got to 20%, that's when you start seeing like jagged jittering, and that's not internet issues, right? That's process intense. I gotta sneeze here. Is it coming? If you're gonna sneeze, or just go away. No, it's all good. So that's not that's nothing to do with the internet when that happens. That's the computer having a difficult time processing the OBS machine. Now, why would it all of a sudden start when it hasn't been doing that? We got it on a cooling pad. We've managed to mitigate those issues that we had quite a while back. We've gone past all that, but then all of a sudden yesterday it cranked up to like 20%. I don't know why, but I noted that there is an update to OBS which popped up on my screen before I began this stream. So I didn't upgrade it yet, but I will obviously upgrade it. But we're back down to regular CPUs. No significance. Oh, okay. Downtown. Are you in Australia? Yes, I am. Australia, mate. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. The East Coast on the southern... No, not southern. Oh, yeah. A little way south of Sydney. That's all you need to know, I guess. The south coast. Yeah, south coast of New South Wales. One other thing I was going to say about the CPU was, nah, I'm a little off sorts here. I tell you, I'm a little out of sorts. Yeah, I'm a little out of sorts right now. I have got something on my mind. I'm just going to pull back a bit and not address it, but. Yeah, so that's that. That is that. What? Okay. Boy, this green tea is terrific. Not. Let's go surfing then, Rob Mac. Oh, you want to? I'll play the clip. Play the clip. Yeah. Doug, got a split gives. Catch you later. No worries, Doug. See you soon, man. I just kind of want to knock this off first. I'm teetering on the edge of getting into this, but it'll open up a huge can of worms. I think I might leave it. I think I'm going to leave it. Oh, and I know Doug's got a split. He's at work, but props again for the Shunting 5, and we did have a little discourse before the stream. What was that noise, by the way? I don't know. I keep hearing it too. It's in my cans. I don't know what it is. And yeah, Doug made a comment which I'll just address as a general comment. But Doug said he thinks he needs to get his audio and his visuals sorted, and I made the comment back saying, well, dude, at least you got a light and you got background light. A lot of people don't even think about that before they go live for the first time, even as a guest on someone else's panel for the sake of the argument. But you have to factor in a light source. Yeah, it's not fun sitting in front of a light, but you have to put that on, right? That's the saying, lights, camera, action, right? Why do a lot of live streamers just go camera, action? What about the lights? You need lights. Front light, and you need background light. Doug did both of those. So I said, man, even with a lousy camera, you've already beaten a hell of a lot of other people by putting a light on. So props to that. Also, I was gonna, and I know Doug's not here, but I was gonna ask Doug what his internet situation is, like what kind of internet he has there, because I could maybe walk him through a way to make it look a little better with a bit of a bitrate bump, depending on the way he's doing it. I'm pretty certain it's just the phone though. But we can talk about all that technical loveliness. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll play the surfing clip. I will say, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this up on YouTube. I'm not going to kill the YouTube. I'm going to leave this on YouTube because I want to critique this Speedify video, this live stream as we go. So I'm not going to say ta-ta to YouTube. I'm going to say I will do this though, YouTube. And if you're watching, there's no one on YouTube, but if you're watching the replay and you're wanting to comment, you got to come down here to dlive.tv/givesaminute. That's where this content lives. dlive.tv/givesaminute. That's how you can partake in the chat. That's how you can comment with me if you wanted to. That's the chat, the only chat I've got right here on DLive. If you want to be here with me, please, dlive.tv/givesaminute. That's for the rerun. Now let us move on and I'll take a quick break. Surfing, come back, Speedify live stream.
Welcome back to the Super Quick Wave Day Edit. Today I made a decision to not go... Oh wow, look at these waves down here. What? Holy crap. Forget that. What I was pointing out is that I didn't go Southern Point. I wanted to get some chance at a longer wave. Yesterday we had, and the day before, Closeout City, population gives a minute. Today I wanted at least some kind of section to be able to ride along and get something decent. Now the conditions, as you can see, a little small, but at least there was this, oh look at this left up here on the point. What? Okay, maybe I should have been out there, but I'll hit this section here anyway. Little right hand sections. This guy's up on one here. You. Oh nice. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. And here. And I managed to get a few on that section, which gave me the stoke. What was that noise? I don't know. But you know me, I don't want to be the judge of that. How about you decide? Tuesday. So, gotta tell you, tide's just changing on the way out. Potentially the right section here, or even the point, maybe. going dark all of a sudden. Look at that. Cloud behind the sun. I mean, sun behind the cloud, and it's just got nighttime. What do you do? Was that okay? Good fun? Good session? Good fun? I'm asking you whether it was good fun? Yeah, okay. Was that good? Was that good fun? Well, hang on a second. Was it good fun for you to watch? Did you have fun watching that? I had fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching it. Now look, while I sit down and think about just how much fun I had, you guys can go back to the live stream.
You guys are already back, aren't you? Hello, hello. Yo, Deborah, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D live stream. Now, this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now, why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D live stream. Thanks for the follow. We surf in Hawaii. You surf in Hawaii. You surf? I surf? No, I'm in Australia. Thanks for the follow though. So let's move on. That was the surf from today, by the way. I enjoyed it. I had fun out there. First one was good. Second one wasn't great. Just good to get a long wave like that. Long rides, long wave, good times. Let's move on though. I'm really intrigued by this now that I found that it's in Australia. So this is a Speedify live stream, how to enhance your van life internet. Join us for a live discussion on mobile internet, remote work, and van life with Geoffrey Huntley, a developer advocate and software engineer who's working remotely in a van that is slowly working its way around Australia. Hell yeah. Full screen that shiz. I'm intrigued. Hashtag van life.
Hello, and welcome to Speedify Live's 18th episode. I'm your host, Alex Giesis. I'm here with Geoff Huntley, who...
So, first of all, there's a live chat there. Might have that on the screen. Oh, you're kidding me. Speedify did a live stream and they did it in 720. Are you kidding me? I mean, there's a fail right there, right? I mean, I'll make it full screen. Powered by StreamYards and Speedify. I'll make it full screen. But if the chat pops up, I'll bring the chat back in as well.
Is a very special guest who has some really cool stuff to show and explain. So the point of this live stream, what am I saying? Is to bring you interesting stuff about how to up your live streaming, how to work from home better. And we have the master here because Geoff has been successfully living out of a van in Australia, doing the van life thing, bonding a lot of internet connections so that he can work wherever he is.
So first of all, Geoff Huntley, if you're in Australia in the outdoors, living in a van, that's the best scene you could give us, dude. Like seriously, turn your chair around and give us a big vista of something like that. That could be in someone's yard, right? I'm going to critique this because this guy, who Alex obviously is one of the founders of Speedify, he just messed up and didn't even realize he was live streaming. He thought he was podcasting. So if you don't even know the terminology, that's why I reckon Speedify is a scam. I don't think it does jack shit.
And hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
No problem, Alex. It's good to finally catch up. Yeah, so a lot of internet connections. Last count is 6 internet connections. And when Starlink happens, if any SpaceX employees listening, hook me up. It'd be great to go to 7. But yeah, traveling around Australia in a van, and internet connectivity is really important to me because I work remotely. And
speaking of working
so, yeah,
remotely, it looks like you're outside right now. Is that?
I am indeed
There you
outside
go.
right now.
Oh, that's
I'm
nice.
connected to your Sydney endpoint. I have 2 setups.
And that looks awful, right? Like I'm just saying, like I'm not trying to be the guy who does this better, but my streams look better than that. That looks bunky and clunky and crap.
When I'm near the van, I have a really big setup. But when I'm just like sitting in a chair, like I'm just like a backpack setup of like a portable router plus the inbuilt cellular in the iPad.
Nice.
Wow,
Well, it's a
sounds
lovely
terrible.
office you have.
Sounds
So
terrible.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a software engineer by trade. I work remotely by the internet. I'm very fortunate that I can work from anywhere. Recently, I've been doing a lot of work in security research with the Australian government into some of their responses to
Fix
COVID,
your audio, Jeff. Not only that, but Alex needs to level it out. Like, see, the problem with this is, and this is why it hits me hard. They're actually tapping into exactly what I want to do. You know, travel around Australia in a van, an electric van, whatever the cyber van comes out like, or whatever the competition, whatever those things wind up in the next 5 years being, living, live streaming nearly everything. Yet I would never do it as crappy as this. You want, like, I do all mine 1080, right? Minimum 1080. This just looks garbage. And this is from a company that provides this service. If they can't do it, then why would you buy their service? I did. Guess I got myself to blame.
Digital contact tracing. But during the day, I work for a company called GitPod. And GitPod allows you to do software development from any device. Like I could throw this laptop like in the river over there, and I just go get another laptop. And well, because all the software development happens in the cloud, there's no setup time. Like it's
a complete development environment in the browser.
Correct, and it's just like this standard software development environment that you would have anywhere.
What's they're saying? That's right, poor audio. Yeah, it's hard to follow along, isn't it? If you're going to present Australia, I mean, that's not what he's doing. He's just working from a van. But my idea is to present Australia to an audience, an international audience, and you want to present the best quality you can. If I can wangle 1080 using the LiveView Solo and 2 4G connections, this guy said he had 6 internet services, and that's the best he's got. Something's wrong.
Computer. And in our software development industry, being able to just like click a button and get a software development environment instantly it makes sense, but not many people do it. Not many people do it. Like I've had clients where I've joined and it's been a month. They paid me a month of salary and I haven't done any productive work because they still haven't given me a laptop, or how to set up their development environment isn't actually documented. It's a really, really common. So it's a huge problem in the software industry. And we're here to help fix it.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I have an old Mac, and I can no longer build Speedify on my Mac. You know, I know I should just go out and buy a new Mac. You know, and with an M1, it'll grind through it. But it seems like it should just be, you know, built in the cloud.
They've got no one in their live chat either. That's intriguing.
Or whatever. Why does it matter how old my laptop is or what operating system I'm on? Why does that have anything to do with what I can build,
It should
right?
not matter. It absolutely should not matter. Like I YOLO upgraded to the latest version of Mac OS. And normally you would never do that because you might break your ability to do software development locally. But because all my software development happens in a browser, it really doesn't matter at all. So I just upgraded it and didn't care because I knew as long as I had a web browser, I could do my work. That is a feeling that is pretty unique. You've upgraded your devices and you're like, oh, I'm going to lose a couple of days of productivity. What if it doesn't work? So you get this entire like change aversion going on.
Yeah. That's cool. So tell us about the van.
Yeah, sure.
Show us the van.
So it kind of started, about 2 years ago. And the van is just 7-meter standard transport van, medium wheelbase.
Here today.
And
Is that the back of the van that I'm showing here?
That's the back of the van. Perfect. Okay, so something that's interesting about the van is one thing I learned when you're on the road, you kind of get these anxieties like, oh, I don't have enough water, I don't have enough solar, I don't have enough battery, I don't have enough internet. And whilst a lot of people, when they would go camping, they want to go detach, right? Really what I want some of the comforts of home to come with me. So you don't want that. So it's completely different. So you want some of the mod cons to come with you in life. So with this van and the setup specifically, like for the internet, it's got exceptional internet. Internet in Australia is stereotypically really, really bad. And up there up in the top right-hand corner there's all the different antennas. So there's 3 different LTE modems, LTE4 modems. Each have their own dedicated antenna.
And is that 3 different carriers?
3 different carriers, right?
Yeah.
And they all get merged together. And in Speedify, I configured the appropriate data cap on each one of those. But that's like the lowest tier in the priority in Speedify. From there, I have a Wi-Fi. Those 2 little candlesticks in there is USB Wi-Fi adapter connected to high gain external antennas. So that means if I'm parked out the front of a friend's place or a family member, I can use that internet over those 4G connections. But also in the front driver of the van, I also have a 5G connection. So they all get merged together into a single internet connection. And
that's what I think Speedify does not do. Speedify, you can merge these connections, sure, and it will tell you you've got a merged signal. But then how come you still get drops? If it's merged and only one of them goes down, you still drop. I think Speedify doesn't actually do what it says it's actually doing.
I find diversity of carriers is what matters. People think like, how much speed are you going to get? It's not about speed. It's about turning 5 or 6 terrible internet connections into one salvageable internet connection.
Wow, dude, but you're not demonstrating that. You're demonstrating a lousy connection right now. He said the right things. It's not about speed. It's about, well, to me, it's not about speed. It's about reliability. 4G and moving further and further away from towers. I wonder if he's going to address being remote. Like, it's okay when you're in the cities and you're in the towns, but as soon as you go between the towns, as we know from my driving streams, when there are no towers, there's no connectivity. It doesn't matter how many connections and how many antennas and how many Speedifies you've got. If there are no 4G towers, and if you're going to rely on satellite while you're driving, good luck until ESIM is available from Starlink, which we still haven't heard much of recently. Earth stations in movement.
Yeah, I went to an interesting talk by a Comcast executive, actually, who said that he'd been studying what was good internet. And it turned out good internet was 25 megabits to every device you're using right now.
Please tell me you're talking about upload speeds here, but he's just talking about download speeds.
If you're just using one computer, it's 25 megabits. But if you have 4 friends over and you're watching, Netflix on a TV, well, then good internet might be 125 megabits.
This is true.
But for a normal person doing work, you know, if you can get up to 25 megabits, you're in pretty good shape, right?
You're in very good shape. Like having all.
So unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to hit on. Funnily enough, they're live streaming this, but they're not talking about upload speeds. 25 megabits down while working from home, working remotely, fine. How about live streaming that? How about doing a conference? How about doing a Zoom call with 10 of your other colleagues? You need an upload. You need good, consistent, reliable upload. At this point, the only thing that does that is LiveU Solo with 4 separate bonded different cellular devices. You might have Optus, Telstra, Vodafone, and one of the other lousy ones, which all run off the same networks anyway, but at least they're 4 separate connections going into the LiveU Solo. That's the way I do it. That's how I get the reliable 1080 upload for 1080 streams. These guys are... It's a shame that they're not hitting the core points, because this company, Speedify, quite literally purports to do this, to cover this, but they're missing all the key. They're talking about download speeds. Get out of here. True gives, true. Yeah, totally, Davo. Because I know from doing this, like I've gone out and driven and taken remote access to do live streams and tops of mountains, and I've done all this, right? And I've worked out how it works. At this point, you don't need Speedify. The only thing that'll help greatly right now is when Starlink is available as the ESIM version, the Earth Stations in Movement. That version of Starlink, whatever the Dishy McDish turns out to be, on an RV or a van or a bus or whatever it is, that'll help. Will it help while driving? Maybe not. Maybe not while driving, but definitely in remote locations for sure.
All those links is very handy because I do video production work. It's handy to upload that data really fast. But like for my daily software development task, because it's happening in a web browser, I don't actually need much network connection. If you're typically doing software development on a laptop, you would have to download all these dependencies, like from NPM, to be able to do your job, and there's high return trip. Like there's a lot of packages and there's a lot of return trip latency, and that's a killer. But because I do software development essentially in the Google data center, all I need is no packet loss and enough to sustain a serial connection.
Yeah.
So again, unfortunately, the core message that I'm hearing from this guy, from Jeff, is that he doesn't really need high bandwidth or reliable bandwidth. He just needs, well, he said no packet loss, but he just needs access to the browser, consistent in and out. But if you're streaming live, you need no frame drops, right? And if you're streaming 1080 30, in an ideal world 1080 60, but if you're streaming 1080 30, you need to ensure every single one of those 30 frames every single second gets sent. And I thought that's what this was going to be about, but it looks like it's not. Maybe I'm a little far ahead of, I don't want to say it like a wanker, but maybe I'm a little ahead of the game, where maybe vanlife, #vanlife, they're not actually thinking about, and when I say they, I mean the thing, the hashtag as a whole, right? Maybe they're not really thinking about live streaming from a vehicle like I am. I want to live stream the drive, the decisions, where we go, what we see, what I show you, not only from the van, but then getting out and moving around like I do. And I really thought that's what this was going to be about. It looks like it's not quite there. The industry might not be quite onto that just yet. But mark my words, it will be. As soon as this Starlink is, the Dishy McDish becomes the ESIM version, this will be a thing for sure.
Just text. Terminal, text terminal. So, it's lovely.
What do you think the issue with his audio is? Is it just because the wind's blowing on his wired mic there? Sounds like someone's scratching a table.
All right. Are there any other pictures here I should? You want to talk about, like is the network diagram worth?
Yeah, network diagram's worth going into. So this is the diagram of the network networking in the van. In the main box at the top right hand corner, there's a priority of networks. So you've got the inbuilt, we've got the USB Wi-Fi adapter, which is used for friendly network connection.
It's interesting that he's got a slot there for Starlink, Dishy McDishface before it's not here yet.
Starlink, if anyone's got any connections to make it happen sooner, please, it'd be awesome. Then I have a 5G fast mile modem. So 5G, the modem I have doesn't have external antennas. It's all inbuilt internal. And 5G's reception isn't that great. Like you can only really get 5G if you're very close to a tower. So it's not really useful for camping, but when you're in the city, there's 5G connections everywhere. So it's really good for urban camping. Like if you're in the city, and that has unlimited data usage on that connection. So that turns actually is really my primary network connection, is that Optus 5G connection. And then from there, if that's not available, depending on how I configure it, I have my array of LTE modems. Now, each one of those comes out with an Ethernet connection, and those Ethernet connections go into a Intel NUC. If you go to AliExpress, Alex, you can search for pfSense routers, and those pfSense routers, you get some really bespoke stuff. Like you're looking at industrial computers, and some of those stuff it will have like 8 network connections, 8 network ports. So I'm using one of them, and I just run Speedify and Ubuntu. I merge all those connections into Speedify and Ubuntu, and then I output back out again. And then I pipe that output into a router.
That's really neat. The Intel NUC with all those Ethernet ports, that sounds amazing, right? People are always asking us, what's the best device to run Speedify on? And, we have lots of devices and they all have pros and cons, but that sounds like it might be a winner.
Seriously, just go to AliExpress, search for pfSense routers. I think they're about 400 US, 300 US, and there's plenty of them. You don't need an i7. The i7's overkill. I have close to 800 watts of solar on the roof, and a pretty amazing lithium battery setup. So I can go for i7. i7 uses a lot of power. Just get yourself like a little i5 type thing.
Yeah, that should be plenty. As long as it's 64-bit and has hardware encryption, but really everything Intel sells has all of those these days. So one question I know people were asking on Hacker News was, why did you put the 5G at the lowest priority? Aren't they often the fastest connection?
But he already addressed that, only in the city areas.
Well, 5G at the lowest is because, Starlink isn't. It's typically it's either going to be Starlink or Optus. Like I don't have roof to put a Starlink internet connection on the roof of my van. Like the entire roof of the van is solar panels. And even if I was to put it on the roof of the van, that would cast the shadows on the solar panels, and you don't want shadows on solar panels. So it really is Starlink is something like if you head to out of that picture and go straight to the top. So my blog is ghuntley.com, and this is where you'll see this blog post. And at the top of the blog post, you'll see this.
Can we get the URL on screen?
And if you head right to the top of the blog post, there's this picture there. And that picture is like myself. Right, click on the GH.
Where do you want me to click?
On the top left-hand corner. On the top left-hand corner, there's a GH logo. Yeah.
There we go.
See, right there in the top right-hand corner is a picture of myself in a forest, and that there is I had minimal 4G and internet connectivity, and definitely no 5G internet connectivity. So it's either an and or. So when I'm going to be using Starlink, I envision it's going to be a scenario where I pull it out of the van, I set it up, and I use it for the day, and then I put it back in at night when I sleep. So it's not a full-time setup, whereas the 5G is always running. So that's why it's just the order of priorities. And
Yeah.
if I do get
the
5G
priority is
going,
how much Speedify is going to use it. So you actually,
correct.
it's not so much that you want to put the fastest up tops, that you want to put the most expensive at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And the one with the data cap. By the way, the picture.
Again, this is all for incoming. None of this is for outgoing. So you can bring all these internet connections together, and then you can bundle them into Speedify, and then you can send that out to your router, and bam, you've got your theoretical 6 different connections of internet together to get at least some connectivity. But you try streaming that back out, that's when you need a live view solo.
Picture at the bottom right is a little less exciting than it looks. It's a blog post about how Jeff showers and uses the bathroom while on the road.
It is. So yeah, there's everything on there. People always ask about toilets, showering, everything like that. That there is a fire tub. If you ever go camping, I highly recommend that you find yourself a cast iron bathtub and carry it into a forest, and then like set a fire underneath and just look up into the stars. It's always a good party.
Nice. All right.
But if you open the expanding the hamburger menu on top over there and go to photos, we'll get away from that one.
So there he
So
is.
so that's that one there. So this is where diversity of network carriers is really important. In Australia, we have Telstra, and Telstra is the main carrier. And people think, oh yeah, Telstra is going to have the best reception. The answer is yes, but sometimes it's really strange. That's up near the Hampton State Forest in New South Wales, near the Blue Mountains in Katoomba. And I had no reception on Telstra, and I had the best reception on the worst carrier in Australia. And this is why the diversity of mobile carriers makes sense. It's really matters. Yeah. It really is about taking bad network connections and making a salvageable network connection. And you just can't plan when you're on the road and traveling. You don't want to have any anxiety of where am I going to set up for the day, and I need to do work. Do I have internet? Will I have internet? Will I have food? Will I have water? Will there be electricity? You want to remove all those things from the equation. You just want to be able to drive to a nice place to set up a tent. So that's what the entire van looks like. There's absolutely no room up there for dishy.
Yeah, I see the solar panels. That's nice.
Yeah. The first tube there is that has fishing rods in it.
All right.
And the one on the other side is I haven't needed to yet, but that would be a large antenna, like a unidirectional antenna.
Cool.
Oh, like a giant Yagi or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Would you believe there's actually a air conditioner under there?
Under where? Under the solar panels?
Under the solar panels, yeah.
Right.
There's 2 fans, so you can get an inflow and outflow, and an air conditioner in there as well. It's a very tight fit out. And it also means if you're in the city and you're camping, it looks more like a tradie van. Even though I'm talking about this and people will start to recognize the van in time, I guess. It looks more like a tradie van and less like a camper van.
Yeah.
The tube makes it look like a tradie van.
What is it? Is it a Ford Transit or?
It's an Iveco.
Okay.
An Iveco.
Okay.
Rob Mack. Good timing, dude. That was almost snap. You asked that literally as the host suggested it was at a Ford. Iveco. Yeah, that was bizarre timing.
What did I do? Reload.
Reload. Second image over there.
This one with the purple thing?
One thing I've learned. Thank you. One thing I've learned is you want to have a dedicated space for your work or your work environment. So like right now, I'm just like here chilling on a chair, and this is gonna be my work environment for the day.
Wow. What
When
frame
I'm
rate is that? Was that like 15 frames a second? Ah.
when I've got the van, I normally set up a tent, and in that gazebo tent there, I set up a table. That's an area on chair, and that's my workplace. And that way, you've got a workplace and you've got a home place. You have that separation between the two.
Do you think he's using his laptop camera? That would explain it. That would explain the crappiness. He said he had the 16-inch 2019 MacBook Pro, which is what I have. Yeah, more than likely. Which I mean, I've been pretty critical here, but I guess I was expecting, because this is, I think I'm just too. I think I just want something that's not quite there yet. Like, it's not really mainstream yet. Like the van lifers that are living in vans, they're not really live streaming. They might do a monthly live stream when they're at a friend's house using their Wi-Fi. And then everything else they do is polished videos that they've edited together, compilations of their last week's travel or whatever. Whereas what I want to do is completely different. I want to do it all live, all the time, as much as possible, and have the audience make the decisions. Do you want to go to the gorge, or do you want to go to the mountaintop? What's up to you? And off we go. And we'll stay there for 3 or 4 days. And I'll stream most of it, right? I know that sounds like a big reach, because... And probably more than likely, I probably won't do that, because you need your own time as well. But I just thought that's what this was going to be about. But this seems to be more about... It seems like his 6 different internet connections... I mean, realistically, I've done the same thing with just 2 connections in my van. And when I'm not streaming, I can download and do whatever I need. Yeah, I think I feel like he's halfway there, but not quite. Everything doesn't really check off here for live streaming, which is ironic because we're watching it on a live stream.
Things just blend into each other, and that's never great.
I hope Alex, I think his name's Alex. I hope Alex, the host, asks him, so what are you using right now to stream this to me? Like, how are you connecting to me? Because that'd be intriguing.
I'm getting jealous. This is fantastic, Jeff.
Thank you. So that picture there is, if you scroll all the way down, stop right there. That orange one. Those 3 photos there. That's the other side. That's what that's the top end view of what that office was looking at. That's how I set up. These days I'm using an iPad over a normal computer, and I'm reducing the normal computer every day. Lovely.
Really? So I guess you're doing everything in the browser, so the iPad's fine?
iPad's lovely. Yeah.
It's the one of the newer ones with the M1 processor, or?
M1 13-inch. It has...
Hang on, haven't the iPads always had Apple Silicon? When he says M1, he means the M1's in the MacBooks, isn't it? MacBook Pros. I thought the iPods always, or the iPads always had Apple processors. Looks like Narrabeen. I was trying to work out where that was, but I mean, I know it's not down here down this way, because we don't have the rock pools like that, the natural rock pools, or the natural water rock pools. Did I miss something though? Did Apple put M1 chips in the iPads these days? I must have missed that. I thought they always had Apple Silicon, but are they now actually using the M1 chip in there? Hey, by the way, I got to close that door now. It's getting a little cold back here. And there's that monitor again. You saw that, right? You saw the monitor flick off. What is it? What is it about getting up off my desk? What could that possibly be? Let me just cut out of that for a second. If I'm sitting here and I say I'm going to go and close my door, and I put this down and I get up, it literally turns it off right now. I'm gonna give you full view of this. Let me check this. Let me put on the GoPro permanently here for a second. Where is it? Here. So if I'm sitting this way, I'm normally looking at that camera, but now I'm going to look at you just to let you know I'm talking to you. Sitting here, I'm facing like this. I got to go and close that door. So I put my headphones down. You see that? What on earth? Of all the technical issues, what on earth could that be? Is it this cable? No. So I'm sitting like, let's do it again. I'm sitting like this. I'm looking to that camera, but I'm looking this way this time. I gotta go and open that door. Cans is off. Dude, that is weird. What is Is it something on the floor? What could that possibly be? Has anybody ever had this kind of thing before? It's not the desk. Is it the weight of your hand on the desk? Dude. It's not the weight of my hand on the desk. I'm literally standing on the desk and it's still on. It's so strange. So strange. Let's try it again. So I got the cans on, looking to the camera, chatting away. I gotta go and open that door. The fuck? What? And that one's gone off now. Dude. Is there something down here? What on earth could that be? It's got to be something up here, right? It's almost like I'm triggering it by my motion. Dude, it's my motion. Hey, I didn't even touch the desk then. Could you imagine it was motion censored? I mean, who would ever... Wow, that's weird. You cracked me up. I'm laughing so much. I'm not actually trying to be funny here. I'm genuinely... This has been going on for so long and I've ignored it. I've tried to like... I first of all thought it was an HDMI connection behind here. Let me just twinkle that one. It's not that, dudes. That's what I first thought it was. The HDMI connection on the back of this. So I pretty much ignored it, thinking, well, you guys never see it. It doesn't affect the stream, but it affects me, and it's just one of those little irky things. But honestly, it's getting to that point where I'm like, what could this possibly be? There's nothing down here. Tiffy had a bad connection as well. Really? That went off? That could be because that monitor went off and it cut the whole thing. But what the fuck? What? So move the laptop. Let me just move the laptop and see if that does something. It's not the laptop. Like, it's not me moving the laptop. It's not the stream deck. It's not the microphone. It's not the headphone cable. It's not the iPad sitting here. What on earth could that be? But yet when I go, dude, it's such a strange thing. Is it these microphones? Whoa, 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 whoa. That could have been a coincidence. So this microphone is when Poopsie and I have a guest here. That's the other microphone, but this microphone's for recording music. Ah, maybe. thought maybe it could be. I've always got these over here from my music stuff. Nothing to do with the stream, but they're always connected into the system. No, it's not that. Okay, just out of just complete clarity here. I'm not touching anything. I'm gonna just do a motion. I'm gonna do like that star motion this way. Watch this. Ready? I'm not touching anything. I shit you, no, I'm not triggering it. I'm not touching. I haven't got a stream deck set up. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not doing anything here. Actually, let's get rid of that so you get full screen props. I plead to you, believe me, I am not, this is not a joke. I'm not doing anything. I'm not touching anything. I haven't got a delay of any sorts. It's just completely, that motion just triggers it. Check this. Watch this. I'm not touching. Here we go. Turn the chair. Okay, didn't do it that time. Oh, didn't do it that time either. Ooh. Is it the microphone? What? It's not doing it now. Was this happening before you set up the new monitor? Yeah, Rob, this has been going on for over a year now. This has been a thing that's bugged me for so long. Like when Poopsie's here and I go out and leave her, I'll get up and that'll happen. I'll get up to leave her and I'll be like, I wonder what she thinks of that. Like I don't know. I don't. Let me check it again. I think that there's something like, it's got to be to do with my floor, right? It's got to be to do with the ground. By the way, there's all sand down there, but I did vacuum it. That's a strange drawer, isn't it? You see that? Oh, you can't really see that. That drawer goes all the way in. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just find this extremely strange. I'm not touching. Okay, I'm going to go under the desk, but I won't be able to see this. So you tell me if anything happens. I'm going to twinkle with like cable runs at the back here. Thanks, Rob Mack, for the ice cream. And wow! I'm going to twinkle with cables. Tell me if it I can't see, so you tell me if anything happens. Did anything happen then? I guess I can catch the replay here. Hold on. Because that's playing the stream real time. I'm going under the table there. Under I go. Yep, I'm under. Twinkling cables. And I was like manhandling the cable run down there. Nah, nothing. Nothing happened. Wow, man. So strange, isn't it? And yet, watch this. What? What? I mean, the only thing that this could be would be some kind of sensor that I don't know of. Like, is there a... Does this old television have a camera, an eyesight camera that I don't know of? It's that motion. What is that motion? Okay. So the only other thing is, which you guys cannot see, above me is my 4G cables. So these are the coax cables that go onto my roof to the antenna. Nah, I thought if I just gave them a bit of a twinkle. No. Far out. That's weird. Weird. Shall we just get back in? No, one more time. So strange, man. What? That's so weird. I wonder if the eyesight camera on my... Let's get rid of the GoPro. I wonder if my if my eyesight camera is on or something, that's somehow triggering it off. That's bizarre. Yo, Prince of Power, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow. Great Mysteries of the World, Rob Mack. Fully, like I say, I've said this, the spiel I'm about to give, I've given this many times. As a live streamer, I've encountered so many different tech issues. I feel like I've narrowed them all down, and I feel like I've managed to squeeze the teat of live streaming and use it for what it's worth. But every now and then, there comes an error which I have no idea how to explain. That's definitely one of them. The other issue with the monitors actually flickering on and off, I don't think that's to do with this. I think that's something separate. I know that's a monitor turning off, but that seems to be triggered by my movement, whereas the idea of all the monitors just glitching on and off, that seems to be a Mac issue that has been reported in many different Apple discussion groups. But that one there, man, if you were German, you would have fixed it. I am German, Prince of Power. I do not know how to fix this. I do not have any idea. I don't even know how to diagnose it, because like you saw it, it's just the movement of me getting out of my chair that triggers it. Is the chair magnetic or something? This is a Streamlabs chair. Are they magnetic or something? Like, could it be the... I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know why. It's such a strange thing, though. Such a strange thing. Let's continue with old mate, though. Where are you, buddy? Over here.
Built cellular, which is lovely. And then I have a router in my backpack. That's lovely as well. And I merged them together.
Are you magnetic, Gibbs? Well, one time when I did get the jab, we had a lot of conspiracy theorists tell me to magnetize and check where the needle went in, and it didn't stick. There was no magnets. And
I can go essentially anywhere. I carried this chair and this iPad into a forest, like National Park, the Bunya Mountains, 2 weeks back, and I'm just like sitting there on an iPad. It was lovely.
All right. So out in the woods and forests of Australia, as an American, I'm under the impression that every animal there is poisonous and trying to kill you.
It's true.
It is. It is. That's why I have a toilet in the van, because if it's 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, 1 a.m. in the morning, and you need to go to the toilet, you got to be careful of those toilet spiders, dude, because they might bite you in the butt. So that's why you have a van, you have a toilet. Get yourself a composting toilet. They are.
Hero Zero, do you think you got a placebo jab then? Nope. Not given the after effects that I went through. I did not get a placebo, I can tell you now.
The best, they do not smell. And
sorry, the word I was looking for was reaction. The reaction I got from the jab, that was not a placebo at all, dude. I was out, flat out, down on my back, major headaches, fever, nausea, chronic headache, sweating, cold and hot at the same time. He needs more blankets and he needs less blankets. That was terrible, dude. That's definitely not a placebo.
Often traveling with my children, and I lock the van up during the night so they can't go out, and so if I'm sleeping, they can't go out, etc. It's a safety thing. It also means that I don't have to do toilet runs. So it's lovely. If you're going to be doing a van, especially with small kids, get yourself a composting toilet. Great idea. But toilet spiders, yeah, you got to be careful of them, especially those daddy long legs. Yeah.
Daddy long legs? They're harmless, dude.
All right. Terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. Wildlife. Then again, a co-worker in Vancouver posted pictures of a black bear rolling down the streets, a brown bear rolling down the streets in Vancouver, and that was kind of terrifying. I would take toilet spiders over a bear any day.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is here in Philadelphia, we killed all of our wildlife, right? I mean, if you look, rattlesnakes were native to Philadelphia. There are no rattlesnakes here now. We just kind of wiped them out. I'm sure there were bears and stuff too, but it's, it's been an American city for over 400 years now. It's kind of cleared out.
They got anyone in their chat yet? Yeah, there's a person there, Ryan Van Dongen with a smiling face.
All right, cool. So how long have you been doing this now?
Started on the journey about 2 years ago. The blog post goes into the origins on the website, so ghuntley.com. Essentially, I looked at the cost of housing in Sydney, and I was in a relationship with a saving me.
How much is Speedify? When I bought it, I feel like it was about $90 a year. I think about 90 Australian. I might be remembering that wrong. I do still have a subscription. What happened? I bought a full year's subscription, and when it came time to renewing it, I said, no way, that doesn't work at all. Hell no, that's just throwing money away. So I canceled, or I didn't renew it. But then I came back to it and bought another one for some reason. Might be like you with the carton of beer, right? I'm not too sure why I did that, but I ended up with another subscription. I feel like I spoke to this Alex guy. I feel like I've had an email from him, and I think he offered me a discount or something. I think I was explaining why I'm not renewing and the thing doesn't work. I'm a live streamer. This is proof of not working, blah, blah, blah. And I think he offered me a discount or something. Not the one on screen, the 25% off. I feel like he offered me something, and I went ahead and redid it. Although I might even be remembering that wrong. I can't recall, dude.
Of course, they're all those things. And reassessing life. I was already working remotely 2 years ago. I could see it's in the future of working remotely. I remembered reading, maybe 6, 8 years ago, a blog post about a Google engineer who was camping in a van, and he was using the facilities of the showers and everything at Google, and they would feed him, they'd shower him, they got all like gyms, and he was putting away lots of money.
That.
Yeah. And I never realized that at that time, like, yeah, that's interesting. That's a nice hack. And then when I went through basically turning over a new chapter, I was like, hey, wait a second, housing in Sydney is
See, there's not much wind in his frame. Like, the trees aren't blowing behind him. I don't think that's wind blowing on his mic. I think that's something else. Why come to Australia if they're scared of spiders? Well, come to Australia to see the beautiful scenes and the spectacular cities and whatnot. But then you got to put up with the spiders as well.
The downside, I think the wind is hitting your microphone.
Yeah, so the median, but Sydney housing now, the median for Sydney housing now is 1.1 million, like 900 to 1.1 million. And that makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense, especially if you can work remotely.
Yeah.
You can pick yourself up a beautiful block of land. There's many places in Australia that's kind of like Montana. And if you've got really good internet and Starlink's coming, get yourself a large block of land and somewhere really nice and just work there instead of being...
It's funny he's mentioning Starlink so much in this, because Starlink will just kill Speedify. You will never need Speedify when Starlink's here.
Slaving away for a mortgage, just live life a little bit differently.
Yeah, Starlink can make a ton of sense out there, right? I mean, things are so far spread apart, right?
Yeah. Actually, this is going to be really interesting. What's actually going to happen with remote work, because people might have seen yesterday, there was a whole bunch of tradies in Melbourne. They shut down the construction industry because of COVID. And there's a lot of videos coming out from yesterday where a lot of people were out, like 8,000-ish people out shutting down the streets and like defying the police, and it turned a little bit violent. If you look at that, they can't work. They like remotely. They have to physically work. Like they have to go to a job to work. And there are a lot of people who can't work remotely. So we're entering. I think we're going to be entering in a social divide of those who can work remotely and those who cannot. And it's going to be very interesting to see like all these parcels of land that are available very cheaply. They may in the country, they may not be available very cheaply in 10 years' time, because people who can work remotely, who are on IT wages, can go out and buy acres and acres of land and build their dream house for a fraction of the cost of a house in Sydney.
Yeah.
It's a good point he's made there, Geoffrey. And it also points to the idea of the city being irrelevant. The CBD, and we've touched on this once before on my stream, but the central business district, why do you need a place where everybody goes to conduct business? Maybe you did in the 30s when, you know, people didn't have, well, there was telegrams right back then, but someone's been over on YouTube. Thank you, Gil. Cheers, Gil. Thanks a lot. Yeah, back in those days when you needed to travel to conduct business, sure. But these days, why do people have to travel into the city to do their business? We have internet. We have good internet nearly everywhere. Why do we need to go into the city to do the business? Like, it's almost criminal in the sense that the powers that be know that this is the way it is. You've got to all live close to the cities. You've all got to go into the cities to do your business. You've all got to travel in, and you've got to travel back out, and you've all got to get there at 9 a.m. and you've got to leave at 5 p.m. So therefore, that's going to be considered peak time, and we're going to charge you more to use the service, to use public transport to get you into that office. We're going to charge you more because we know you're going to use it. It's like, shouldn't that be the other way around? If you don't want us to drive our vehicle into the city, you want to get less cars on the road, shouldn't peak hour be the time when you get a discount to use it because everyone's got to be there at 9 a.m.? It's the other way around. They're like, oh, well, you got to use the train, so that's going to be the dearer time to use it. It's crazy, right? And like, I think he's hit a point. Like, yeah, this is all going to change. And I guess COVID has been like the sort of like launch pad for change, as good and as bad as that may be.
Right. Yeah. Theoretically, this should all even out. The prices of houses in Sydney should start dropping.
Is my
it's not happening.
At least stop going up so fast.
We've had 25, 30 years without a correction, so yeah.
He's definitely on his laptop at that point, the way he's positioned it, I think.
So actually, let's talk about Streamergencies. Do you have any good stories of disasters?
Oh, wow, that's interesting timing. Streamergency, that's not me, by the way, that's their video. Streamergency is a phrase that Speedify uses to, it's like a term that they've come up with to, it's their own in-house term to protect, well, when a stream fails, the Speedify emergency resolves it. What's up, Gives and Givers? I can show I guess the show is starting earlier. Charles, g'day, man. There has been a time zone change. Australia, or where I am in Australia, is now in Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern Daylight Savings Time, AEDT, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Yeah. So our clock went forward 1 hour.
Streamergency. A stressful situation when one's live stream breaks down or cuts out unexpectedly.
This is interesting because we've just spent the last 27 minutes hearing how Geoffrey doesn't actually live stream. He just uses the internet in a bonded sense with 6 different connections, this stream urgency would only be applicable to those sending out packets, not receiving.
That's interesting. We just had one just then.
That was a simulated stream emergency.
That was a simulated stream emergency. Not really. I don't do, or I do things live, but really it's more about getting a good workable internet so I can do my day-to-day job.
See, isn't this a bit of a fail, considering the whole product that this guy has, Speedify, is for live streaming? We've kind of, yeah, he's using it, but not for what it's sort of meant for.
Hey, do you ever live stream?
Yeah, I do.
You sometimes speak at conferences, right?
Yeah, so twitch.tv/Geoffrey Huntley. I do public speaking, and I normally use Speedify when I'm doing anything to do with Twitch or video calls, etc. Specifically because it's not necessarily about the stream emergency, just in case it drops out. It's the comfort knowing I can just walk between a room. Like
Apologies for this, folks.
Tablet up and just
this
go
right here.
between
Let
things.
me just pause that. I just noted this right here. This is my audio interface. With all of those, with all the times that the screen went off, my audio had cut or not. So this is another interesting thing. This tells me right now that my audio interface is not running in my, how do I explain it? So I've got, they call them snapshots, and this one's telling me to reopen my snapshot, which is the preference, the setup I've got. And the setup I have includes a bunch of rack plugins, one of them being a noise gate, another one being compressor, and there's also a high pass filter in there. And when it tells me that I haven't got it open, it's kind of confusing, because technically it is still open because you're still hearing my microphone and nothing's changed with the audio, but yet it's telling me to reopen it. So if I go no now, and now it's going to reopen the device. Now if I go Command O and open up my live setting, it's technically running how it was, but yet you haven't heard a difference. So that's kind of strange. And also the fact that that popped up on this monitor is a little weird, because I have got this command clicked on the icon to open on that desktop. And I don't know why it doesn't always do that. Open on desktop on display 1. That's display 1 here. I'll do that again. Open on desktop on display 2. That's display 2. So now I'll do it on open on desktop on display 3, which will be my chat screen, and display 4, which is this guy. That's where it should have been. I apologize for that, but that's a thing that happens every now and then.
I love the iPad. I'll be on a call with co-workers, and I'll just grab the iPad and I'll just walk. And then when the house Wi-Fi drops out, or the van Wi-Fi drops out, I can just, like, it just works. Like, I just falls back to the inbuilt 4G.
Yeah, that's good. So what advice do you have for anyone who wants to follow you on this life and get out on the road?
Sorry, Charles, you said you spring forward and we spring backwards, resulting in a 2-hour change. Oh, have you had a time change too? Yeah, it's 2 hours difference. Yeah, right. Interesting.
There's a lot of BS on Instagram that show a life. I would say that whilst it is lovely to have all this and has your office, it is a harder life. It is highly structured. It's very highly structured, but at the same time unstructured. Like, you need to build your routines, your disciplines. It gets easier with time. Like things like if you're having to worry about having interconnectivity or electricity or any of those things, you're now worrying about those concerns that your co-workers would not have to worry about. so that can start impacting other aspects. Like when you're worrying about like low level things like that, and because they're continually changing, that becomes a distraction. So what you want to do is you want to there's no other way just to get out there and start doing it. If you want to do it, you can look at Instagram for a long time and plan everything and get your perfect build, but really all you need is a vehicle, and then you throw a sleeping bag in the back and then start doing it. In time, you start from like tanks of water to a proper water underneath your vehicle, to just backpack routers, to proper antennas on your van, running off USB battery packs, USB-C battery packs. That's the beautiful thing of an iPhone, iPad, or even an
Oh, yeah, that'll happen in
M1.
November. Sorry, Charles.
Everything
Gotcha.
runs off USB-C, so you can get these massive battery packs. So initially, last year when I was doing all the stuff with the research with the digital contact tracing, I had no electricity in my van. I was just driving around Australia, and I had 4 USB battery packs. I was just rotating in and out of 2700 milliamp hour battery packs. You don't need much. You need a vehicle. And life on the road will teach you what you need to know, and you develop routines and everything. But you really want to raise your abstraction as soon as possible. People go camping to lower their abstraction. They go to like to they go to live life without internet. They live life to escape, right? Well, the primitive life is nice at first. It's very relaxing. But if the primitive life is your full-time life, and then you also have to interact with the modern society and world, you don't want to be having a primitive living. So you want to raise your abstraction up and find ways where you get your comfort. And for me, that is never having to worry about battery, never having to worry about internet, never having to worry about water or food.
All right.
But
it seems like we are getting some questions here, are we? Now we're getting comments. How you're making it sound exciting and luxurious.
It's good and bad. This way, in a small 7-meter long vehicle, it only takes about 10 minutes for the vehicle to get super untidy, and you get like super frustrated because there's not much space. So you're always cleaning. There are downsides. Kane, your question is, I sound like Dave Goggins. I've never heard of him. I'm gonna have to go look him up.
Neither have I.
Yeah, could you help me out there? Who's Dave Goggins?
Oh, they're on Twitch right now. There.
I don't know.
If you look at I have to look it up, but if you look at the origins of Australians, like we're actually like the entire notion of a swagman and people who travel is really ingrained into our culture historically, and now with people working remotely, we're going to get digital swagmen. So not sure who Dave is, but I guess I'm a little bit like a digital swagman in that sense.
Digital swagman. That's a great phrase.
Yeah. All right.
Of course, only Australians would know what a swagman is.
So do you watch any live streamers?
See, Alex is trying to turn this around to live streaming, right? Because that's what Speedify's for. But we haven't really hit that point yet. It's a shame because, yeah, I guess we're not getting what I was hoping we were going to get out of this. But
podcasts. I mean, are there any content creators who you find really inspirational?
I don't. I now really live as much as possible a really minimalist lifestyle, reducing social media, reducing content I consume, just focusing on what I like. I will say though, there's a person called Geoffrey, and he's put together a team of live coders software developers that are teaching people how to program, and I'm always happy to plug Jeff because they're doing something really good in that sense. We're now getting into the point where people are doing education via Twitch instead of Twitch being like watching someone play games, or you're now seeing it become things like watch people knit or watch people create stuff, and that's lovely. There was a good example last year where uh, the PM of New Zealand, Jacinta, dropped into a live streamer, and the person was doing wood carvings, and they did a live interview in the back. So it's really lovely
That's
to
cool.
see
That's
like,
cool.
the growth of live streaming, but I don't actively consume.
That's fair enough. So what do you think's how much more, like, do you think a lot of people are going to follow you? Is this the future of remote work, or?
I don't know. If you're 20 something and you're watching this and you're dropping $10,000 to $20,000 a year in rent in Sydney, and you look at the cost of housing in Sydney, and you can work anywhere in the world, you're mad to stay in Sydney. You're absolutely mad to stay in Sydney.
The Wall Street
Specifically,
Journal had a
so
similar story about a pair of people in Manhattan who bought themselves an RV and now they're sitting in Wyoming.
yeah, it doesn't have to be an RV. It could be, the point being is you can go country, you get yourself a nice block of land for a couple $100,000, a house for 100-ish extra, and like everyone's going to look at you funny, like, because you're living life very differently. But when you have a house over your head and everyone else is like 60 and paying off, still like only just paying off their home loans, and they're living with all this financial stress, and you've been like sitting happily for many, many years, they're going to be jealous and envious. So if you're younger and you're in IT and you can work remotely, consider what remote work and how you can make that work for you by living a little bit differently.
Yeah. But, these days you have to have good internet. And I feel like between things like Starlink and Speedify and 5G, it's now possible to take internet out to places where in the past they would have charged you an arm and a leg to run a fiber optic cable out there. Right?
No shit. $5,600. We talked about that earlier.
I mean, DSL is not good enough.
So I grew up in outside broadcast. My dad did a lot of stuff with television, and so outside broadcast bands, etc. So this is kind of continuing on how I've been raised, a little bit nomadic and a little bit in broadcast. But yeah, the old school like Iridium satellite and all those they still charge per meg, and it's such ripe for disruption. And Starlink is just so exciting because like if Starlink enters space, enters the area, we're going to get other people entering the area. We're going to get some competition, and all of a sudden we're going to start seeing people hopefully living happier lives. Like just if they want to live in a log cabin and work remotely, and a log cabin is where they do their best artistic work, put a Starlink on there and go do that best work.
Yep. So when we first launched Speedify, Iridium was what, 7,600 bits per second, right? It was 7K.
Not even ISDN. It's not even an ISDN link. Like an ISDN link is 14.4.
I mean, it was an old school modem, right? So I went out and met with them, and I said, maybe we should do something together, right? Because if you put a couple of your phones together, you might get something that somebody could actually use for internet. And they say, we have a customer who built this already for themselves. I said, who? They're like, well, they're in Antarctica and they have 50 of our phones.
What?
lined up.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whoever this person is, they had enough of a need that they built something like Speedify themselves. And yeah, just used it for themselves in Antarctica. So that was a weird little
Wow.
story.
And that's all. What he's illustrating there is that as soon as Starlink is globally available, even Antarctica gets covered, right? Because it's going around the planet. Try to explain that to the flat earthers. Good
The other
luck.
weird story, right, is that they had a SpaceX model rocket in their conference room long before SpaceX was. Oh, nice. We've got
Nice.
people watching via Starlink. Long before people all knew about SpaceX. I was like, wait, that's Elon Musk's new company. What's going on there? They're like, Elon Musk has stalked our CEO. Every time our CEO travels, it turns out Elon Musk is staying in the same hotel and asking if he can launch. Like, he's literally following him around, which I found so inspirational to realize that a guy like Elon Musk, he's still hustling, right? When he wants to make a sale, he does all these crazy things. He follows people around if they're the one of the 3 or 4 people he thinks he could sell stuff to.
By the way, I don't know if you guys, but just now I've only just worked out what this is on Alex's frame. That's his microphone. The reason it was throwing me off is because on his desk behind it, he has what looks like, is that a gumball dispenser or something? And it has this dome in front of it, which I thought was part of the microphone or part of this device. And so that, and the way that this looks very industrial, the way that it's connected up here. And so I was thinking that's in the background. I thought that was a prop in the background. That's his microphone, and that dome thing is not part of it. You got my mouse there, right? Make it bigger. Tweak it. Yeah, that dome right there. You got to shake your mouse, but then it disappears back down small. That dome thing.
Just odd little story.
It's not that odd. I've been thinking about hustling. There's when I'm camping, people want internet, and often I've been places like Oberon, New South Wales. It's a beautiful water reservoir that's a stocked fishing reserve, and like you get a lot of campers coming through there. And I remember one time there was a lady who was doing online counseling courses, like video calls, like just like this, and that's how she earned her income. But she was completely stressing about her internet, and she was walking around with her phone, and she just tapped on the door of my van. It's like, is that you? Is that internet link there? Because it's not just one internet link. I expose out the one internet link plus separately all the different networks, the separate Wi-Fi hotspot spots. And it goes, is that you? Like, and I go, yeah. It's like, I really need to do a class. Can I use your internet? So I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. So it turns into like almost a gift economy. So like, I need something. I'll give you internet, or maybe the internet connectivity could be sold as a hotspot.
That's a very interesting point. If fast forward 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, 15 years, and every RV has a Dishy McDish built into it, and then it's usable in the moving sense, the ESIM, so these are moving hotspots. Could you imagine an app that allows you to on-sell your service as part? It's kind of like the way Waze, that addition to the TomTom, where you give the information back to TomTom to tell other TomTom users that there's a traffic jam up ahead. Imagine you give back into the network your unused bandwidth from your Dishy McDish on top of your RV, and it's doing it while you're driving. And so you're then driving into a town where other campers are that are also doing that, where you can patch into them and you can contribute back to them. Dude, that's incredible to think of.
People want internet. There's more and more people hit the road. If you're camping next to someone, it's just like it's the modern day equivalent of having a guitar. for anyone who works remotely. Like,
His audio dropped out, but he said it's the modern day equivalent of having a guitar. So when you pull up to a campsite, it's like, anyone got a guitar here? We're going to have a bit of a sing along. Yeah, you can use mine. Yeah, that's cool. So this guy Geoffrey Huntley has won me over. At the beginning of this, I was having a crack at him for lousy signal and not streaming and blah blah blah. But he has talked me around in the sense that he's made some very good points.
sit down. Here's something I can do to like a gift to the group. Play an instrument, or here's some internet.
Yeah,
You can do your job.
It's only a gift if you're better than me at playing guitar.
well, it's only the gift if you've got better internet than me. So the better the internet, the better the gift.
I love playing guitar, but I'm terrible. Might be part of what I like about it. All right. What else? So we talked about hardware. We talked about software. Well, what other apps are you using? Are there other apps you're using a lot of these days?
Man, I'm just thinking, forget the RVs and camper vans. Imagine that's on every vehicle. Every car, every sedan, every SUV, every vehicle has its own internet. And when you park up at the store, at the beach, at the park, wherever it is, you're providing the network to everybody around you as part of... They always say the internet should be for everybody, right? Imagine that. You buy a car and there's an additional... you want to get the upgrade model, and that includes internet. What does that mean? It means wherever you are within range of this vehicle, some kind of high-powered Wi-Fi thing, you can get internet access anywhere. And if you opt in, you can contribute that internet because it's unlimited, uncapped, unlimited speed, uncapped data. You can give that to everybody else around you, and you earn reward points, blah, 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 and you get into the system. And then everybody else that buys a car that has that in it, every time they turn their car on, not even. It's on, right? It's solar powered. Oh my goodness gracious. You park up, you go to the beach, go to Bondi Beach on the summer's day, right? And there's just hundreds of vehicles parked up and they're all providing internet access to everybody around them. Far out. Bring it on.
Everything's in a web browser now.
Everything's a web browser now. I've been on the iPad. I've been using a thing called Bink Terminal. Bink Terminal is SSH plus Mosh terminal. It's lovely. If you don't know Mosh, you need to. If you're in technology and you do things with consoles and terminals, you need to get Mosh. Mosh is a free open source program. It runs as a server that alongside of SSH, and what it does is it makes it work with multi-home internet connections. So I can close this lid of this iPad, and then
there you go. He said he's on his iPad. He's on his iPad.
Open back up when I get to a friend's house, or get home from work, or whatever your scenario.
So it keeps the session alive on the server, even if you disconnect for a little while. Yeah,
and then as soon as the client opens up again, so you turn on the iPad, it reconnects to the server, and it just keeps working. And normally, if you hop between different networks with SSH, it drops your network connection. Or if there's high packet loss, it just drops, and then all of a sudden you spend all this time reconnecting and going through the handshake process. With Mosh, you don't need to do that. It's lovely. So, and also it works with high latency, really, really high latency. It's got local echo with a corrective algorithm, and it works. So you could be on a train.
With the Pied Piper algorithm?
Traveling on a train, and that just with really, really high latency because you're going through a tunnel with high packet loss, and the connection doesn't drop out. It becomes unresponsive as soon as it's able to flush the buffer at work. So I use an iPad client, and I run, and that has Mosh support in it. And then from there I have, and that's the Bink terminal, and on the server I run Mosh.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic, right? Because let's be honest, if things didn't restart, you could disconnect for a few seconds and not notice, right? I mean, you spend so much time just kind of looking at things, and then you just type a couple characters and hit return, right? there's so little bandwidth. Yeah. So Mosh, that's a good tip.
Mosh, definitely, if you're in tech, Mosh. Speedify for your network links, of course. Gitpod is actually really, really good software. So gitpod.io allows you to do software development from anywhere, any device in the cloud, which is lovely. Highly recommend looking into it, especially if you're doing workshops or teaching. Because if you move your software development into a web browser, into the cloud, if you're running a workshop or a classroom for students, they can turn up on an iPad or a Chromebook or a Mac or a Windows, and they should be able. They turn up. People turn up to do workshops because they want to learn what you want to teach them. But if they've got this large prerequisite tasks of stuff they need to do, or the computer's not set up right, then all of a sudden you spend 2 hours setting people up on their computers, and you haven't actually taught anything. And there's always someone who doesn't do all the prerequisites. So using something like Gitpod, just getting your classroom running in the browser, you just give them a link and they can start their work immediately. So Taco, your question is, what is the iPad app? It's Bink Terminal, B-I-N-K, or it's B-L-I-N-K, Bink Terminal for Mac. It's about $20, but completely worth it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, online teaching with the codes. I mean, my kids are both sort of done with virtual classes, right? So my daughter went back to Georgetown, signed up for 5 classes, 4 live, 1 virtual, called at the end of the first week, and she said, I cannot even listen to the virtual class anymore. I have to drop it. I can't pay attention anymore. I'm just done with virtual. But I think these sort of tools for a coding class where people actually type in the editor and, the teacher can kind of pop in and talk to them about stuff. That's probably totally different. That's probably better than live in some ways.
Yeah, the problem with, well, even just watching this, I hope people are enjoying the content. They're finding intellectually stimulating. It's one way, right? When you're doing software development.
What? This isn't one way. This is a two-way street. That's the whole idea of live. You interact with the chat. That's the whole point of live. Live streaming is so much better than a video because it's two-way. If you're not engaging the chat, you're not commenting and you're not talking, that might as well be a video. Live streaming is two-way. It's so two-way, I'm gonna run to the bathroom, take a little pause here by playing the surfing clip from today. We'll come back in and finish off the rest of this. There's another 20 minutes to go, but I'm finding this part more intriguing. Once I gave up the idea that this is not about live streaming, but yet is about live streaming in a way, I feel like I'm more open to the comments that certainly what Geoffrey's making it. It's also intriguing because I feel like Alex might be looking at this as sort of like maybe a bit of research for him and his company to sort of, we've been mentioning Starlink a lot on that, or they've been mentioning it and I've been mentioning it, and maybe he's kind of thinking, well, how are we going to play into this? How are we going to, if Starlink is going to be so good, will you even need Speedify? And therefore, what about our investments into this company, that kind of thing. So I'm intrigued as to see both angles here and both sides to the coin, but let's take a quick pause here. I'm going to leave you with my surfing from today.
Welcome back to the Super Quick Wave a Day Edit. Today I made a decision to not go, oh wow, look at these waves down here. What? Holy crap. Forget that. What I was pointing out is that I didn't go southern point. I wanted to get some chance at a longer wave. Yesterday we had, and the day before, Closeout City, population gives a minute. Today I wanted at least some kind of section to be able to ride along and get something decent. Now the conditions, as you can see, a little small, but at least there was this, oh look at this left up here on the point. What? Okay, maybe I should have been out there, but I'll hit this section here anyway. Little right hand sections. This guy's up on one here. You. Oh nice. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. And here managed to get a few on that section, which gave me the stoke. What was that noise? I don't know. But you know me, I don't want to be the judge of that. How about you decide? Tuesday. So, gotta tell you, tide's just changing on the way out. Potentially the right section here, or even the point, maybe. Cloud behind the sun, sun behind the cloud, and it's just got nighttime. What do you think? What do you do? Was that okay? Good fun? Good session? Good fun? I'm asking you whether it was good fun? Yeah, okay. Was that good? Was that good fun? Well, hang on a second. Was it good fun for you to watch? Did you have fun watching that? I had fun doing it. I hope you had fun watching it. Now look, while I sit down and think about just how much fun I had, you guys can go back to the live stream.
Oh yeah, good timing. I'm right there with you. Good timing. By the way, in the bathroom then when I was taking a slash, Homebrew is kicking along brilliantly. That's burbling and gurgling and bubbling and bubbling. It's going off right now. Put it on yesterday. It'll be another month or so, and then we'll have homebrews again. Let's continue on the video here, Speedify live stream. How to enhance your van life internet.
Development is two-way, so you actually engage in doing an activity. So it is different to just watching a stream.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Any other questions, people in the audience? We are answering them if you post. So, not going to have a stream this Thursday. Normally we do them Tuesdays and Thursdays. My nephew is getting married. Taking the day off. Do not bother me. All right.
Wise choice.
All right. Apologies if you already covered it, but could you speak to how you use your Wi-Fi AP versus the mesh device?
Yeah, sure. In the van, I'm using a Unify Dream Machine. It's overkill. It's complete overkill, and it uses a lot of power. Way too much power. The reason I use that is because I use Unify. I have Unify security cameras hang on the van, and I back the footage off-site because it's my house, and people put security cameras on their house, and this is my house. So I use the UDM because it's an integrated solution that just works. There's enough complexity in my networking environment where I've got all these different internet links where I don't want to be doing pfSense. pfSense is lovely software, but I don't want to roll my own router. What I wanted to do was roll the things that I couldn't buy, which is all the different internet links, and then I buy Speedify, and then I merge that, and then I plug that into something that I can also buy. Because I want to be able to focus on work, it's a production system, not tinkering. So the difference between the Wi-Fi AP and the mesh device, I have two Wi-Fi access points. The van itself is insulated to keep the sun out. Even though there's solar panels on the roof of the van, they keep a lot of sun out from coming up top. The sun will also be on the sides of the van, and also the bitumen, the tarmac, radiates heat up from the bottom. So the entire thing of the van is insulated, but that also interferes with signals. So I have an internal Wi-Fi access point, and then I have an external Wi-Fi access point. I run the internal with less transmission power, and I run the external one with full transmission power. And I haven't really done it yet, but there would be scenarios like probably can't see it, but over there there's a PowerPoint. Let's go have a look.
All right. Live streaming.
Yeah. So
Skate park there too.
Oh, they've locked it. That's what you're always doing. If people are wondering what van life's like, it's always about walking around looking for PowerPoints. Last week that was unlocked, so you're always eyeballing places where you can set up. This is a nice little amphitheater, and it's got shelter against for rain, etc. But getting back onto it is a mesh device, because you can set up a repeater. If my vehicle's back there and that's got high transmission power running a mesh device, and I've got a PowerPoint right there, I could in my backpack have a mesh Wi-Fi access point, and I can repeat that signal.
Yeah.
Haven't had to do it yet, but that's the idea.
Nice. I love this
So
IRL action.
Yeah, so I would use probably a directional antenna pointed towards the van in that case, but never had to do it, need to do it. But I could.
Nice. All right, that was a great question.
Gagaden with a follow. Yo, Gagaden, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D live stream. Now, this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now, why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D live stream. Thanks for the follow, Gagaden. I might have been saying that incorrectly. Gagaden.
Does anyone else have questions? We are still answering them here. Keep asking. All right. So you're gonna do this forever? What are, any thoughts on
Not forever.
your future?
It's similar to the story in the narrative of the Googler in the van, right? You can do this forever, but you need to plan accordingly. Like, I'll explain it. Back 2 years ago, I was camping with a bunch of hippies, like in a forest, like 500 hippies for a month, and it was the most wild experience. And one thing I learned from that is those people really know how to live. It's a great lifestyle, but you need to think long term, right? You don't necessarily want to be 60 and not have a home or a place to live. Like, your health will deteriorate as you get older. I could become ill, right? Or I become incapable of driving. I could lose my eyesight. I could lose an arm. Like, if all these things were to happen, I can't drive a vehicle. If I can't drive a vehicle, I don't have a home, etc. So you got to think long term. So long term for me is safety net. I've already got a parcel of land, and then build on that, and then I have a safety net, and then I can just travel for as long as I like, knowing that I have a safety net there.
Yeah.
So long term and short term. We have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a rooftop tent.
With a rooftop tent. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So for antenna placements, you speak with the manufacturer of the antenna or an RF specialist. Some antennas need what's called a grounding plane, like a minimum amount of like metal to mount it on to actually get for it to have maximum performance. The antennas I use don't need a grounding plane. So that's one of the first things you want to look into when you're RF. So in Australia, there's I use a company called rfshop.com.au, and they help me out with a whole bunch of questions in the end. But as for antenna replacement, if it's on a vehicle, there's not much real difference with the antenna placement. Like, yeah, you can put it in a good place. It's really not much difference. It
makes no difference because the vehicle always moves.
Because it depends if are you going to do a unidirectional or omnidirectional antenna. Like, if you're going to do a unidirectional antenna, that means the direction of which you park your vehicle matters. And let me tell you, that's annoying. That's really annoying. Like you go into a caravan park, you see all these grey nomads, and they get out their chocks and they want to get their caravan perfectly level, and they do all these elaborate setup and teardown tasks, whereas I just get in a van and drive. So you want to remove these concerns if I'm pointing north or west or any of that stuff. And you don't even know where your nearest tower is going to be.
Yes, you do. Use Oz Towers and check it, which is what I do before every IRL stream that I drive. I always make sure that I'm going to wind up within the area of the tower so that I know I've got signal. Like I always say, while we're driving, we may go in and out of reception, and you'll see my "Where's all the 4G gone?" message. Just be aware that I will be back, and this stream will continue when we get to the spot where we're going to camp up. because I've already checked it.
I went for omnidirectional antenna, and I recommend on a vehicle you do this.
Gemma's Journey with the follow. Yo, Gemma, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Now, this makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. Now, why would this make you a giver? Well, let me explain. You see, you're giving me your time to consume the content, whereas me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. And so you see how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street. But you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D-Live stream. Thanks for the follow. Hello. Hello, Gemma. Hello. I'll give you a little cheers as well. Where's your journey taking you thus far? Daleski's in the house too. G'day, Dale. How you doing? Didn't see Dale slide in there. G'day, Dale.
There are some really low-profile omnidirectional
Yeah, they are.
antennas.
Very low.
I haven't been shopping for these things for a while, but there used to be, inch and a half tall, little, almost K-cup size things. Of course, you have to drill a hole through your roof, but
yeah, there are proper vehicle ones. The one I'm using, I guess they're normally for.
Hangovers sure suck. Dale, you got a hangover, have you? What was what day is Tuesday, Monday? What was the occasion for you yesterday?
For a house, but then again, it's a house on wheels. So, placement. So think about grounding planes, think about unidirectional versus omni. Uni is great if you're, like, say that I'm going to sit here and going to be set up for a week, and there's absolutely no network connectivity, then you might decide to climb a tree.
You had the day off. Oh, okay. So that's the reason to get twisted the night before? Fair enough. Gemma, I've been told you're a good person. I've been told you're a good handle. Don't believe everything you read, though.
Strap a pole to it, and then you're good to go. But you don't need to think about an omni and then think about interference. Like I thought a lot on the placement of in the van, the interference of if there's anything obstructing, like any metal.
Gemma, you stream about your life as an autistic adult. Well, there you go. Very well done. You do that here on D-Live?
The front of the antenna when I was mounting the omnidirectional antennas on the back. In the end, I do have to be interference in the sense of, like, it's very packed on the top of the vehicle, but there's nothing I can do. It's better than nothing. And it's better than not having the antennas. So just think about any obstructions to your signal. What would obstruct your signal? And that's really simple. No obstructions, grounding plane, uni versus omni, and a high quality thing, and speak of an RF guy.
Gives a terrific, just never ever call him a fool. Daleski. Classic.
nice. Yeah, and go Google vehicle mount antennas. There's a lot of interesting stuff out there.
And don't bother with signal boosters.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not bother with
Stupid.
signal boosters.
Stupid.
The way signal boosters work is they take a small, a marginal network connection, marginal signal, and they work as a base station that repeats it. So they're amplifier. Right. So they're useful if you want to, say, amplify a marginal network connectivity for a cell phone, because a cell phone doesn't have external antennas. But if you're amplifying a marginal connection,
If you've got an omnidirectional or a unidirectional antenna, a booster isn't going to help you. The antenna is the best thing for you, and your mesh network if you wanted to extend it further and further and further.
so that your modems right next door to it, which have really good antennas on it, are also getting a marginal connection. There is no point. I see no point to it. And you can do Wi-Fi calling and SMS calling here in Australia. So I saw no point going down the point of a cell phone booster like a Cell-Fi. They cost like almost $1,500 before installation. And the only upside benefit was getting mobile coverage on my phone and providing external antenna to my phone. But I don't need that because I've got really good antennas and modems. So
Yeah, the people I know who have had success with those are people who are in this solid structure, right? And so they put that on the roof so it can beam down into the, like that. For some reason they're
Correct.
underground, or they're in this crazy stone building, right? And so they mount this on the roof, and it bounces the signal into the weird place they're in. But you know, I don't think that really applies to
That's the type of scenarios. Like what you do is you put a base station on top that catches the signal. You run a cable from the top of the base station down the walls through the conduit into your techno bunker, and then from there you have the repeater.
Did he just call that a techno bunker? Into your techno bunker.
And that would repeat the marginal
Classic.
top network connection and down there, and then all your devices around you would have LTE signal. On a vehicle, it does work if you just want to have if you wanted to have an external antenna to an iPhone, because there's no way to plug an external antenna into an iPhone, so you're essentially paying $1,500, whatever it is, to have an external antenna for your mobile device. But you already have external antennas, and there's no need for the repeater in the booster.
Exactly.
Right. Cool. All right. I think we're getting close to an hour here. In fact, I think we're at an hour. So I'm going to say thank you. I don't want to use up too much of your valuable data. So thank you so much, Jeff. This was awesome. This was inspirational. Makes me feel sad that I'm still sitting here in my office when I could be out and about. Obviously, I've got Speedify.
Yeah. Think about how if you have the luxury and the privilege, it really is a privilege to be able to work remotely. Remember, like I brought up the topic of the tradies in construction workers in Melbourne yesterday, and everything's turning violent. They can't work. They can't earn an income. They can't work remotely. And that's not great. So it really is a privilege to be able to work remotely. And if you do have the ability to work remotely, think about how you make it work for you. Like, grab a chair, go down to your local park, grab a couple of hotspots, use Speedify, merge them together, and just relax. You can make it work for you. And consider, if you're younger, a different life, a different path. You don't need to do a $900,000 a year mortgage when there are places in the country where you can buy a house for $250,000 and retire early. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so thank you, everybody. People are saying thank you, and like, subscribe. We put up his blog before. Go read his stuff. There it is. Ghuntley.com /internet is the one that goes on about us, but there are other posts there. You just go to ghuntley.com.
I'm going to actually pull that up right now. ghuntley.com/internet. I spelled that wrong, but that's okay. Go this back to his page anyway.
All kinds of stuff about van life and the secrets to making it work. And I really enjoy it. So, all right.
Thanks, Alex. Until next time.
I was going to say good night, but I guess it's good.
The day is just starting.
Cool. Have fun.
Cheers.
Don't lose connection. Faster speeds. See, you can't. Faster speeds. You can't get a faster speed than what you've already got from your cell provider. Speedify. Gemma, I stream about being autistic, Gibbs. Yes, I did. Yes, you did say that. I did see that. And I asked you whether you do it here on DLive. Let's take a look at Jeff's website here, folks. Geoff Huntley. So this is the site this is the gentleman who we were just listening to. I work remotely from a van that is slowly working its way around Australia. Follow me for the intersection of remote work, camping, and #vanlife. Adventures, COVID safe, infosec, lifestyle, packing lists, paddling. Paddling? Remote work, software development, travel planning, traveling with kids, van life. What is paddling? Sup? Paddling. How long? Okay, I'm not too sure what paddling is. COVID safe death. Ablution. Oh, this is when he was talking about taking a tub into the bush. Let's have a look at this though. There are 6 internet links on my office on wheels. 7 when Starlink arrives. Is this the best internet in Australia? Wow. Yes, you do. You do stream here on DLive. Very good, Gemma. Very good. So that's the image we saw earlier. If you're going to work remotely anywhere in Australia from a van, you need damn good internet. Here's how I put together a vehicle with the best internet connectivity in Australia. This was on the 20th September this year. I'm Jeff. I live a minimalist lifestyle in a van that is slowly working its way around Oz. When I'm not sending cake to GitHub, I work as a software engineer at Gitpod, a product and an open source project that provides ephemeral software development environments in the cloud. Here's some lovely images. Oh, he's a bit of a surfer too. Come on, Jeff. Let's get together and go surfing, man. Oh, your images don't arrow across. That's that looks fun. That looks cozy. Live stream it. Not interesting mobile fire pit he's got there. That's pretty cool. Previously in the series, this post is the 4th in the series about remote life. Where's the Okay, so these are little thumbnail ads. Network architecture. If you're going to work remotely anywhere in Australia from a van, you need damn good idea. We've read that already, and we saw this on the stream. This is his hierarchy or the priority. Okay. Equipment. There are 3 mobile phone carriers in Australia. Naturally, the van has a connection with Telstra, Optus, and Vodafone. I thought Vodafone was piggybacking off Optus, but I might be wrong. I use a Huawei B818 modem because they run off 12 volts and are LTD category 19 4G modems that support carrier aggregation. Each 4G modem is connected to its own XPOL 1 5G omnidirectional antenna. I guess that's a link out to where he got it. I just wondered if there was a price on that as well. Tell him the price, son. Doesn't appear to be a price there. In Australia, the Huawei B818 modems can be found cheaply on eBay. The external antennas are important because the installation of my van unfortunately interferes with mobile reception, and inbuilt antennas in general are garbage. This is true. Okay, so here's his setup here. There are also 2 Alpha A08254 high gain Wi-Fi antennas mounted to the back of the van, connected to an Alpha USB Wi-Fi adapter that is used to provide inbound internet connectivity from friendly Wi-Fi hotspots. Okay, fair enough. So if he parks up next to a Macca's, you can just punch into theirs pretty simply. Finally, there's a Nokia Fast Mile 5G modem that provides unlimited high-speed data when I'm near areas that have 5G coverage. I did not know about this. Fast, oh, I love a cookie. Fast Mile 5G. 5G fixed wireless antenna access is the perfect complement to your mobile offering, bringing the new revenues with the FAWA, our brand, customer. Okay, cool. Didn't know about that, but don't really often get 5G anywhere where I go. There's a box. All of the above gets merged into a single internet connection via ESXi virtual machine running on an Intel NUC with 8 Ethernet ports that are bonded out to the van's internet router. Unified Dream Machine Pro. Okay. A lot of cooling going on there too by the look of it in this image. The key piece to making all this work is Speedify. There's an ad, so he's got a affiliate link. Let's see how that works. Yep, the campaign is in the URL. G Huntley. So he's affiliated with Speedify. Fair enough. Ah, shit! It went all the way back up there. That sucks. Should have done that in a new tab. Speedify performs channel bonding to combine multiple internet connections into a faster, more reliable connection, and automatically prioritize streams over the other network traffic, so you avoid stuttering, buffering, and disconnections. Now, I want to believe that, but I probably should say, I will say this: of the times that I've used it, I've still dropped connections live streaming. So that tells me it doesn't quite do what it's meant to. I should revisit it and check, but as of 2021, September, October even, last time I tried this, I was still getting drop frames, still dropping connections. So that's my take on it, but I could be wrong. Bonding for connections, private, so he's got 5G, 407 down. That must be his ISP there. Download of 178, upload of 27, pretty rad. Ping of 23, not great. Each network connection that is bonded by Speedify can be configured with custom priority rules, such as only use the 4G modems if there's no network. Yeah, this is cool. Network connections that are bonded can be configured as followed. Streaming. Speedify maximizes the speed and reliability of your streaming traffic, video calls, audio calls, live streaming, etc., by intelligently using both bonding and redundant traffic to get the best performance from your available internet connections. This mode uses extra data to deliver a better streaming experience. That's the one I was using. I was using that, and then I tried using redundant as well. Speed here, there's another version, Speed. Speedify intelligently distributes web traffic amongst all available internet connections in order to deliver optimal speed. So if you're just looking to stream Netflix, you'd be going with Speed. But if you're looking to live stream out, I was going with redundant for a while. Speedify operates at the speed of the fastest single internet connection and uses additional data in order to deliver ultra reliable connection. When using redundant mode, each packet gets sent simultaneously over multiple connections, and whichever packet gets through first is the one to be delivered. That's what I thought you needed as a live streamer, right? You never drop anything then. When I'm camping somewhere with terrible internet connectivity on all networks links, I switch Speedify to the redundant mode. Speedify is simply amazing. I've been in situations where I've been driving in regional New South Wales where there's no mobile phone service on my phone, but the internet link remains solid enough to sustain a connectivity to stream music from Spotify. Again, not talking about uploading, downloading. Some lovely images here though. Uptime monitoring. There's some arrows. You might be wondering what this costs to run each month. The fastest, most redundant and portable internet connectivity in Australia is okay. Oh wow, that's the back of the van. I couldn't quite tell what that was. Oh, that's interesting. Oh wow, it does click on the next in a way. Wow, that's weird. Honestly, I don't even need a fast internet connection when doing my software development tasks because Gitpod, my computer is... Okay, data center. So now he's speaking that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm glad we watched it. It wasn't quite what I thought it would be. I'm going to reinvestigate Speedify. I'm going to try using it again and see if I can get a different result. But yeah, as it stands right now, what I do with my IRL streams from streaming from Stevan, is to use the LiveView Solo with Optus and a Telstra internet 4G service that gets sent up to a cloud, which is the service that LiveView Solo provides. LiveView Solo then sends that to my RTMP ingest, which is a web-based software called Go Lightstream. Go Lightstream then sends that out, and Go Lightstream sends it to Restream, which then takes it across all the networks wherever I'm streaming to. Facebook's 3 different Facebook sites, YouTube, Twitch, Trovo. I was doing Bitwave, or DLive, of course, Bitwave. So that's how I do it. So just in a nutshell, one 4G service by Telstra, one 4G service by Optus. Both of them in SteVAN, both of them hotwired into my LiveView Solo. The LiveView Solo takes the feed from my camera, HDMI source in, multiple cameras, one camera on the roof, one camera in the vehicle, microphone internal, got a little switcher so I can switch between 2 different cameras as we drive along. That signal goes into the LiveView Solo. The LiveView Solo bonds or sends both of those signals to its cloud server. That server then sends it out to Go Lightstream. Why do I do that? Go Lightstream essentially is OBS in the cloud. So it allows me to add all my overlays and all my triggers and all the stuff that I have here. All that gets sent from Go Lightstream into Restream.io, and you could just go from Go Lightstream straight into DLive or into YouTube or into Facebook. You could do that. You could go straight from Go Lightstream into the streaming software, into the streaming platform of your choice. Fine. I choose to go to Restream.io first, simply because Restream receives it and then it sends it out all over the place. That's how I do it, and it works fine until you're in a place where the 4G doesn't connect to a tower, which is often between towns. While we're driving, drops off because we're in between towns, we're in between towers. That's where Starlink may resolve this issue. The ESIM version, the regular Starlink, which is available now in Australia, won't help because that's an Earth station that's not meant to be moved. The ESIM, Earth Stations in Movement version, which may have, we've seen the tweets from Elon, there will be a hardware change, slight hardware change. I think he's going to get it to run on less power as well. So it requires less draw and maybe a slightly smaller footprint, but that's yet to come. Once that comes, I'll be adding that to my setup, and that's why I don't think I need Speedify. Also because I've proven, or I've done it from here, where it just still drops the internet, even in redundant mode. Interesting, Gibbs. Yeah, that's how I do it, Dave. That's how I do it, man. And we've been doing it. By the way, we haven't done it for a while because of lockdown, but remember last time we did it was when they locked New South Wales down. It was like, I'm out live streaming and I'm having a great time here. I'm about to pull up and camp. And then there's like dude, you know you're on lockdown. You got to go home. And I'm like, what? So that's the last time we IRL'd, but I can go, okay, it's a waiver day for this month, so it won't be until November now, or the end of October we'll do an IRL stream, but right now I'm focused on the surfing content. But folks, there are 16 Yahoos watching the content right now. We're going to wrap things up here. Who's live on the machines of D who would appreciate a 16 viewer host? I'll let you Yahoos decide who that is. And while you're deciding, I want to thank the financial contributions to the content here. You know I do this full time. I appreciate when you contribute to me. Helps me to do this. Little pat on my back. Helps me to continue on my road here. When you look to your own chisel chat, you can see the top 2 contributors to this stream. We got Rob Mack and Davo. I see you right there. Rob Mack and Davo. Appreciate you. Thank you very, very much. Niles in the house. G'day, Niles. I was earlier, like minutes ago. Niles, you were earlier. Hello. You were live earlier, right? So who's live now, though? I want you to choose who we're going to host now. We'll go over here and have a look, but I want you guys to choose. Come on. Good night, Gibbs and Givers. Good night, Charles. Have a good sleep. Does anybody want to suggest a streamer that we host? Does anybody want to suggest a streamer? I'm going to go in my best English accent here. Who's live, love? Who wants a good old hosty host, eh? Come on, fire it up. Pop it in the chisel chat. Go on then, love. Put it in the chit chat there. We want to host someone. I'll give you some clues. Subcultured, Pay, Jesus Pope, Savannah Sushi, Nate Smokes, Defango, Thumbs, Ghost Dog, Grimsky, Rev Jim, Mr. Bomb, Warwick, Johnny Matrix, CDK. Davo says King B. Hell yeah. Did I see King B in the sidebar? Yeah, I didn't see him in the sidebar. How come he's on the what the? How come King B's not in the sidebar? Let me get rid of my freaking hideous head here and do a quick search for King B. King B. He's got 2 3s in his name, so that should search it up. Well, there you go, folks. He is live. Let's bring him up. Let's bring him up. King B is live. We're going to give him a host. So let's grab his handle. Let's pop his handle in here. It's going to give us a confirmation warning once we click that button there. See that little confirmation there? So my stream's going to go offline right now, folks. It's going to say gives a minute is offline hosting King B. There'll be a yellow bar at the top of the screen. You've got to click that yellow bar. If you don't, you'll be in my stream still. Click that yellow bar. You've got a King B stream. When you're in there, put the words feel the gives love. Let them know where you're coming from. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for a cryptocurrency stream. Withdrawing Cos from Cos TV. Laters.